Face front, true believers. This is Modular Media's No Prize podcast, where we talk Marvel movies, Marvel TV shows, Marvel comics, Marvel merchandise, and more. I am your host, Chris Boingo Writer Gaston, and with me, as always, in this endeavor is
representing the distinguished competition, the Vacuuminator is here.
And hey, boy, you'll actually get to talk about the distinguished competition this episode.
Yeah. I'm gonna remind everyone why I am the number one Zor-El simp on YouTube. Do not dispute me.
I think you blew out your mic for there, so it's probably going to sound like shit in the recording.
Yeah, fuck you, headphone users.
No, don't fuck you, headphone users. Those are our listeners.
There might be people listening to this through speakers. Leave a comment if you're listening to this through speakers.
On to the task at hand. We've watched episode 2 of Loki. We're going to talk about it.
We're not live reacting to it. We did a live reaction for the week last night.
At the time we're recording, which is Saturday.
Yeah.
No?
You like wrestling? Go watch MMWP. We live react to AEW Dynamite. There you go. There's your plug.
Right now, until things fluctuate back into the other way for AEW. But we're talking about episode 2 of Loki, 2 of 6. Any general thoughts you want to get into before we dive head on into this episode?
I thought this episode was pretty good. It was nice to see the relationship between Loki and Mobius fleshed out a whole bunch. Interesting kind of world building, and I think setting up of eventually where we're going to be going with some of these characters and concepts by the end of the show. And then there was a big moment that made me very afraid at the end.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Hope it's a good afraid and not like oh no, where's the show going afraid, but
it's an afraid that will entertain you.
Okay. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I have a vibe.
Yeah.
All right. We'll cross we will cross that super magical bridge when we get to it.
Yep. We'll cross the rainbow bridge when we get to it.
But we start this episode. We are in a Renaissance fair in 80s Wisconsin.
Oshkosh, to be specific, hometown of Dylan Postel, aka Hornswoggle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Not Hornswoggle.
He has an independent promotion there.
Oh, sick. That's dope. Hornswoggle always seems to be one of those wrestlers that was like really maligned at the time, but I'm really glad it's just like stuck around and it's become like a fan favorite. Like Blue Meanie.
Yeah.
But we are in this Renaissance fair, and the Time Variance Authority pops on in with a good number of agents, with a couple of agents, going like, "Oh man, we've noticed a thing. We noticed a thing. It's in this tent. So let's go into this dark, scary tent with our close range melee weapons."
And there's the one lady who works for the Renaissance fair and is like, "Hey, you fucking Trekkies, get out."
I love the very kind of like, it's not a jab at those kind of nerds, but it is just kind of an acknowledgement of like the nerds that put way too much of their self-worth into their fandoms. Mm-hmm. It's like, come on, some people need this. It's like, oh, I've seen people like that. Oh no.
Yeah. Also, it threw me for a split second because I thought she looked like Agatha.
Dude, ditto. But they're walking into the tent, and then a mysterious hand with green energy touches one of the time agents' temple, and we, for the third time in a goddamn month, get a sequence with "I Need a Hero."
Yeah, and it's probably the worst one of the month. Like, it's not terrible, but it's just kind of like, okay, this song is playing now.
Yeah, it's weird. It worked okay in the He-Man trailer that they released. And I'm trying to remember
great in the He-Man trailer.
I'm trying to remember the other thing that was in. Oh, the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer.
There was a Guardians of the Galaxy trailer?
The video game.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was trying to erase that from my mind, sorry.
The video game looks good. I'm interested in it. I'm excited.
They massacred my boy.
He looks fine. At least it's not 70s Drax.
I would love 70s Drax in a video game. Are you fucking kidding me?
Fucking Ultimate Alliance, then. I think he's in there.
Sick.
But no, we have a little fight scene between all the agents and the mind-controlled one, and they all get knocked out because of the agent. And then the person who came in and did the brainwashing comes in, knocks the agent that was doing all the fighting out, steals their tech and bombs, and drags them through a time portal. And then we have our title sequence.
Yeah. By the way, I don't think for the rest of the duration where you're talking about them, you don't need to say the person because they credit them in this episode as the variant.
Yeah, but I always wanted to be, because we're going to be talking about the identity of this character is a somewhat important reveal in
Yeah.
general. So yeah, let's just go variant because it's a little bit easier. We'll switch back and forth between person and variant and that kind of stuff. But then we are in the cubicle lounge of the TVA, and Loki is being quizzed in of the rules and regulations and all that stuff by Tara Strong.
Yeah, Miss Minutes. I was pleasantly surprised. I expected her to just be in that propaganda video, but the fact that Miss Minutes is kind of an actual character is great.
I love Loki's question: are you a recording or are you alive?
Sort of both.
I love that because that plays with the predeterminate nature of the TVA.
Mm.
How
And then
how everything's dealing with predestiny and all that kind of stuff.
I also love how people immediately ran with it as a meme template. Like my favorite one was, do Star Wars fans love or hate the series? Sort of both.
But you know what I mean when I say like the predeterminate nature? She's a recording, but she's recorded throughout all of time for all the interactions that she will ever supposed to have. So
Yeah.
it feels like it's like that one thing from Doctor Who, the
Mhm.
the Weeping Angel episode, the good
Yeah.
Weeping Angel episode.
There's a lot in this episode that reminded me of Doctor Who, actually. This feels, especially with the way they're interacting with and treating Loki in this episode, the TVA agents, the field agents, really feels like the Doctor talking to other Time Lords on fucking Gallifrey.
Yeah. But again, it's that kind of 70s sci-fi vibe. Like this is sci-fi pre-Star Wars, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
Logan's Run, stuff like that. 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, it's a lot calmer, it's a lot more straight laced.
Yeah. But Loki's at the desk dealing with all that stuff, and he picks up a little catalog for jet ski, as they start getting debriefed about the next thing they're going to go do, which is the Wisconsin incident we just saw. Loki gets very pedantic about his powers briefly, but it's a pedantic tree that's like understood of like, yeah, no, those are two separate things. We need to recognize and understand that.
Yeah. Felt very much like listening to a conversation in a comic shop, if I'm to be honest.
Yeah, because basically, Mobius is running down the variant's abilities because it's a variant Loki, and going like, oh yeah, image manipulation, and then Loki just goes like, duplication as well. Yeah, that's what I said. Image manipulation. It's like, no, duplication is a separate power, and it works like this. So,
Yeah.
E.
And then he's like, look, you're doing good work. Keep it up. You may get that audience with the timekeepers yet. And Loki's like, wait, that I might that's that shit's serious? Okay.
Yeah. And then they get to Wisconsin, and we just have the best fucking like Falcon and Winter Soldier was a buddy cop movie like Lethal Weapon. This is a buddy cop movie like I'm trying to think of another example. It's very cerebral buddy cop.
Yeah.
It's
It's
more
kind of
Odd
like a
Couple.
Dirty Harry type thing.
It's a
Dirty
fun.
Harry or fucking oh, what's the one with Eddie Murphy and Jackie Chan? Rush Hour.
That's not Eddie Murphy.
Who is it?
I can't remember his name. Tracy Morgan? No, it's not Tracy Morgan. Hold on. Wait, fucking do this to me. Stars Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker. I haven't thought about that name in a long time. That's why I thought it was Eddie Murphy, probably.
But we get to the crime scene, and Loki then spins his Loki wheels, going like, "Hey man, they know we're here. They're out there waiting for an ambush. We just gotta wait for them and do all this kind of stuff." And like Mobius is humoring him for a minute, and he's like, "You're being a Loki. All right, cool. Ignore him."
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, no, I was seeing if you wanted to bring anything else while I was getting to the next scene.
I literally was trying to think if I had anything to add there, but no, it's just it's a good little moment of like reminding you what kind of a bullshitter this Loki is.
Very much so. Um, But afterwards, once that whole scene kind of gets done, we're in the office of the time judge. I can't remember her name right now.
Rensler is her last name, and they mostly
Yeah,
just call her Rensler.
yeah,
So you
and
know she's Tron from Tron Legacy.
she fights for the users.
She sure does.
No, but in the comics, because here's the thing. When I say in the comics, that means in this other version of the story, so never take it as spoilers, but in the comics, she was married or is married to Kang the Conqueror.
And somebody fucking asked the actor that's playing Kang about this show in an interview last week. And he was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I haven't even started filming Ant-Man yet. Why would I be cameoing and stuffing?
I mean, to an extent, makes sense for them to do, but also like, hey, your character is well known for being a time traveler. There's currently a Marvel thing involving time travel. I there's logic to asking the question.
True. I just thought that was funny.
Oh yeah, no, it is funny. It's a cute fucking thing to do,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah.
But they're in the office. Judge Rensler and Mobius are talking, and she's going like, "Hey, this Loki guy, he's not doing the shit you said he would be doing. He's on thin ice. You got one chance, bud." And there's a cute interaction of like Mobius is setting down the glass on the table, and she goes like, "Put a coaster down." It's like, I'm just putting it where the rings are. Yeah, who made those rings? And it's just like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah. Good. I really like this scene because it establishes that even though Mobius seems very authoritative when he's talking to Loki, he is the rebel amongst the TVA. He's the weird one who doesn't quite do things the way they want him to.
Right. But he's the one that gets results, so they keep him around, that kind of character dynamic.
Yeah.
And I love how right after it, him and Loki just have like this quick back and forth of just like really showcasing their dynamic, how Loki longs for and seeks out approval from others,
Mhm.
but he will never admit it.
Loki is eternally going, notice me, senpai.
He's a little puppy, and it's like adorable when it's pointed out like, hey, you're being a little bit of a shitbag. I love the look that this version of Loki just goes like, fuck, am I being a shitbag? God damn it.
Try not to do that this time. Fuck.
And basically Mobius goes like, all right, cool. Here is what I want you to do. I want you to read over this variant case, everything about it. See if you can get any insight with your Loki brain. And Loki's like, God damn it, I don't want to do this. It sounds boring, and he's mocking it while doing it. He gets told to shush. And then we got a scene where r/mechanical keyboard busts a goddamn fucking nut.
Yeah.
Are you on that subreddit? Because goddamn, there's like
I
10
didn't even
posts.
I haven't been on that subreddit in a bit, but I didn't even think about that until you said it, and it's like, oh fuck, you're right. They probably loved that.
Oh yeah, very much so. They were talking about it, and like the first question was, "What are those keycaps? I want them."
They're probably like actually from the 60s. There was some prop house that just had like 10 keyboards
No,
that
those
they
are
used to
actually
make that.
recent. Those are recent.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact name of it, but there was a one-time little drop thing that a company did. You can get knockoffs now, but like
Oh, that's cool.
so Loki goes up to the receptionist, and it really shows the bureaucracy of it because Loki's just standing there and going like, "Hey, I'm here," and she does not look up until he rings the bell. Like it's very, you have to do everything by the order of the thing.
And so he tries to use her to learn about what he wants to learn about. He's like, hey, give me files on the timekeepers, get me files on the beginning of time, get me files on the end of time. And she's like, that's all classified. Okay. Is there anything I can read? And she gives him his own file.
I also took it as like that's also the file that Mobius wants him to read, and she's like going like, "Do your job, asshole."
Mhm.
And as Loki's going through this, he's reading up about Ragnarok and the death of his home, and he gets all the big sad because he learned about his death, and he was more through his own timeline. He was already off planet when Ragnarok happened, so he didn't see it.
Yeah.
But then he gets that detective movie inspiration when he looks at how many time variances happened at Ragnarok. So though he goes to interrupt Mobius while Mobius is eating his lunch, and he goes like, "Man, I got the fucking plan. I got it, and it's here's what we need to search for."
They
Okay,
literally pull a Doctor Who, and he's like, "Yo, apocalypses are fixed points in time."
major apocalyptic events are fixed points in time, and specifically the fact that everybody in that area is going to die in the next span of time. That means you can fuck with time in that little bubble right before and change nothing because ultimately it's gonna get wiped soon, which is a brilliant fucking little
Mhm.
twist. I love that.
Yeah. And so they go to fucking Pompeii, and then we get an amazing cameo from David Tennant and Peter Capaldi.
Really? They were in there?
No, I'm joking because of that episode of Doctor Who.
Oh. Also, real quick, in the lunchroom, they were drinking Joe Cola, which was a soda that lasted from like 1991 to 1996.
Yeah, that was in episode 1 too.
It's just like all the branded food products in the cafeteria are like old discontinued stuff that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. Also, we got to see Casey again for a brief second. And
Yeah,
apparently the thing he was drinking was an old brand too. I didn't quite catch what it was.
I think it was a boxed vodka. But Loki basically goes like, "Hey, yo, everybody Pompeii, I'm from the future. Y'all gonna die." And Mobius is freaking out. It's like, "What are you doing? Stop. Wow,
Ah!
you're not supposed to do that." And then he looks at the time thing and goes like, "Shit, you were right."
Wow, I can't believe it. There's no variances. Wow.
And basically, like, Mobius is so happy he's found a lead to this whole case, able to break it wide open. And Loki's just excited. It's like, "I did something good. I did something right. Ah, what are these? What is the serotonin in my head?"
A good chemical go burr.
And basically, they spend like the all night just going through apocalypses, trying to find something that would fit all the criteria they need, and they're burnt out, so they go like, "Fuck it, let's get a snack." And then we have probably one of the most beautiful sequences about like interdimensionality, determinism.
It might be my favorite fucking scene in the whole show because, and I know this is going to be cringe to say this, but as an atheist, I fucking read this scene as an argument between an atheist and a religious person. Loki's going, "Man, why do you fucking believe in this shit? Why is any of this, why do you take any of this seriously?" And he's like, "Well, I fucking do it because of X, Y, and Z, and that makes sense to me. And because of that, I believe everything around me is real." He's like, "Really? You need that? You can't fucking take chaos or whatever?" And he's like, "No, this is comfortable for me. It's fine." He's like, "All right." And I cannot tell you how many fucking times I have had that conversation.
Yeah, but it's also funny is that the atheist perspective is coming from Loki.
Yeah.
But part of that whole metaphor is just like, what's with the water skis? It's like, oh, for one brief, beautiful moment between 1990 and 1995, there was a beautiful combination of form and function known as the jet ski. And it's just like, there's something beautifully tragic there because all you want him to do is be able to ride it. But he's a weird interdimensional person, non person who can't actually experience the time that he is protecting.
So that scene also makes me think that by the end of the show, he's gonna get to ride a jet ski because of some plot contrivance, and it's gonna be a cool moment. Um Also because of the earlier scene in Rensler's office where she establishes that she does actually talk to the timekeepers on a regular basis, and they say she has another agent she keeps on retainer. I think that other agent is going to end up being somebody important. That'll be like a reveal close to the finale. And I think we will see the timekeepers actually show up in the finale.
You can see that. I'm trying to think of who else. No.
Hmm?
Okay, remember that Doctor Who parody I said Marvel had? Like Quartermaster or something like that?
Yeah,
What if it's him?
that would be fucking awesome.
That'd be tasty. That'd be interesting. But continuing on from there, that conversation happens and they get an inspiration for what might be the apocalypses that they need to actually look for. I'm just trying to get to the right point in the
Same.
so we can talk about it.
Yeah, he goes back to the bubble gum he got from the beginning of the show, and he's like, "Hey, this is the other variable we can use to narrow it down." Um,
Because
and
it's a regional bubblegum brand from like the South in America
in
from
like
the specific times, the 40s
the
and the 2040 to 2046, 2040, 50 or something like that, whatever.
2040 to 2078, I think they said.
Yeah. And they use that to narrow it down to Roxcart, which is a Roxxon grocery store in a Roxxon corporate town in Alabama, which,
I thought
buddy,
as much, but they said Rox Corp.
no, Roxcart is the name of the grocery store. Roxxon is the name of the company that owns the town.
Yeah, but they said in the show, they said the town was owned by Rox Corp. That's what I heard it.
I didn't hear that. I heard Roxxon.
Yeah. Well, I was just like, well, maybe they reorganize into Rox Corp in the future.
Maybe, but like, hold on. Children.
But he goes to Rensler and he's like, Chief, you gotta let me do this. You gotta let me take this one last risk. And she's like, motherfucker, your last risk was your one last risk. And he's like, please, just one more, Mom. I'm begging you. And she goes, fine.
He also goes like, yeah, but we also pointed out a huge flaw in our security. And she's like, yeah, it's the Loki that discovered that. That makes me very nervous.
Which is probably foreshadowing.
And Mobius goes like, hey, here's your knives back. And the time agent lady that's always been dogging Loki goes like, no sharp pointy things for you.
Also, I forgot about those knives. I was like, why is he just giving him random knives? And then somebody reminded me they are from the from episode 1 or from the fucking Avengers scenes.
Yeah. So they all arrive at Roxcorp. They're all going into the grocery store. And then Loki just flexes and goes like, hey, look, guess what? I have my magic here, so I'm in some kind of control. You can't control me to that extent.
And then the next fucking shot, Owen Wilson also has dry hair because he's Owen Wilson.
I also imagine like Loki actually cares about Mobius and goes like, I'll dry you off, Mobius.
That's fair. That's a fair excuse.
He was also wearing a hood, so.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So they split off, go into the separate directions, while a mysterious hooded figure looks on in the security cameras. And using brainwashing individuals, endeavors to communicate with Loki, going like, hey, you're a Loki. And he goes like, oh, you're the variant we're after. And they have a really cool back and forth of like, why are you doing this? Well, why are you doing this? Loki, I'm more clever than you are, off.
Yeah. By the way, this location is in 2050, and they say that a hurricane is going to wipe a town in Alabama off the face of the planet. I'm guessing climate change goes badly in the future of the MCU.
Oh, it seems like it so far.
Yeah.
But we also got another cool moment of how Mobius is different from the rest of the TVA, because one of the time agents is being a little rough. He's being a cop.
Yeah.
And then Mobius goes like, hey, man, this ain't cool, man. Stop it. They're people. They're scared.
They're scared. They're going to die. And he's like, yeah, they're going to die, so it shouldn't matter. And he's like, no, it matters more.
We don't want them to be afraid and scared. But we continue the scene with Loki and the variant having a conversation, going like, hey, why are you doing what you're doing? Hey, why are you doing what you're doing? I'm trying to take over. Oh, you think taking over is my goal? You think I'm trying to usurp them? That's cute. And then their plan starts. They find the time agent that they took, that the variant took, and she goes like, "Ah, man, I told him where the timekeepers are. Oh no, I fucked up. I'm traumatized and scared." As we start to realize what the variant's plan actually was.
Because they mention a bunch of times throughout the show that the variant has been stealing reset charges.
As we see a bunch of reset charges lining the building, and you're going like, oh no, were they trying to lure Loki into this situation to blow them up? What's the whole big deal about this? You're a little scared, you're a little frightened. And then we have the prerequisite action scene to break up the action of this show, where Loki fights a redneck.
Loki gets thrown around by a redneck. I would not call that a fight.
Yeah, but it felt very distinctly of like, hey, there's too much talking in this episode. We need something to break it up.
Alright, fine.
As the plan starts to go to fruition, as all the charges start being turned on and being sent to a variety of time places, space and time areas such as Ego. I think one of them was Nova, the Nova planet. A bunch of variety of places on Earth.
I
The
saw
TV,
Hong Kong for a split second, but that's all I noticed because I didn't pause it.
yeah. I'm getting to that so I can specifically look at places, and they're all being sent there to basically create a multiverse firebomb to create
Yeah.
too many diverging timelines that cannot be accounted for quick enough.
Basically, Loki is trying to create chaos.
Loki is creating an incursion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the thing trying to get pause it so I can see some of the places and locations.
Yeah, because there's a ticker that comes up as one of the fucking agents at the TVA. It goes like somebody is trying to bomb the sacred timeline, which was a good line.
Phom Nham, Vietnam, 1522. Lisbon, Portugal, 1492. Vormir, 2301. Thornton, USA, 1551. Cooksville, USA, 1999. Asgard, 2004, which I think Rome, Italy, Sakar, Portugal, a bunch of other places. So yeah, really just trying to fuck up the timeline, really trying to fuck up and make a multiverse. And then the variant basically goes like, hey, here's my face. I'm blonde. I have a Loki headband. It implies that I'm
I'm
Lady
played
Loki.
by Sophia Di Martino. I looked her up. She's not been in anything else I've seen, and she's 37. That's all I got from her IMDb.
And she basically goes like, hey, Loki, you can stay there or you can come with me. And Loki comes with her.
And I immediately went, "Oh no, oh no, Loki's cute."
I mean, haven't you seen comic Lady Loki?
Comic Lady Loki really isn't my type.
What, you don't go for goth girls that can kill you with a stare?
Not really. Especially not big busty goth girls. It's not my kind of thing. I'm
You are
pretty much
literally insulting an entire.
I mean, like, I'm sure they're lovely people. I'm talking physical attractiveness.
No, I was just more making a joke at the whole the meme of a big titty golf girlfriend.
No, that's your thing.
No, that's a genuine meme on the internet.
Yeah, I know. I know that's a genuine meme on the internet. I also know that you're one of the people that was into the fucking vampire lady. So don't try
I was
and
not
fucking
into the
mock
fucking
me.
vampire
Yes,
lady.
you were posting
I
that
was-
shit. You were fucking posting that shit. You can't fucking psychic damage me for Supergirl and not expect me to turn it around eventually, motherfucker.
Because here's the thing, I posted that ironically.
Oh, sure. Just like I've been doing all the magic simping on this fucking podcast for comedy.
Dude, you do realize that like I posted 4 pictures of Lady Demericus like total.
I just remember it being a thing and me going like, "Oh shit, okay, so that's what Boingo's into."
But
Anyway,
I mean,
short
here's the
blonde
thing,
girl
you don't
is-
have to go there to do that because we've also talked about Rogue and X-Men Evolution, bruv.
Oh yeah, that's right. Way to
Like,
fucking confirm it too, by the way.
like you're reaching for this, and I'm just going like, bruh, there's an apple pie right here, man.
But no, big titty goth GF is not my thing. I'm very much a short sunshine princess kind of guy.
Yet you like magic.
I mean, Magic is kind of like that if she decided to hit the gym.
Magic is big titty goth girlfriend if her hair was blonde.
Magic is as fucking short as Wolverine, bro.
Big titty goth girlfriend does not include height. It's just about the big titty.
Fair enough.
Also, look at her superhero costume.
Yeah, I know.
And tell me you would not see that in a goth club circa 1991.
Okay, I'm gonna fucking quit beating around the bush here. The point I'm trying to make is that I like short chicks. There, you happy?
I don't know. I think the audience might be able to tell us better.
Oh
But
my
yeah, no,
god.
this feels very much of like this episode feels very much like, all right, cool. Here's the end of Act 1 so we can get into the rest of the things we need to do. Also, we have gone through basically most of the footage in all of the trailers.
By the way, I like short, badass chicks. I should very much autocorrect that. It is both a personality and a physical thing. I'm not entirely shallow. And this episode was pretty good. Yeah, I
Okay, that
liked it.
that piques the question. What about X-23 then?
You know, I read the first couple issues of Tom Taylor's all new Wolverine, which is the run where X-23 became Wolverine. And I liked it and I wanted to read more. I just never got around to it. And I don't think I've had enough real exposure to Laura besides that to know if I sent for her or not.
You've also been reading Dawn of X.
She's not as heavily featured in that as I thought.
Oh,
But
right. No, that arc is in Rain.
yeah. So
There's
I'll
a
get
specific arc I'm thinking of that's in Rain. That's after
Yeah, the
Swords.
biggest moment she has in Dawn is them fucking sending her on a mission and Xavier going like, "All right, X-23, here's what we need you to do." And Logan goes, "Wolverine." "What?" "She's Wolverine, but you're Wolverine." "Yeah, she's Wolverine too. Shut the fuck up, Chuck."
I love fatherly superheroes going like, no, my surrogate daughter gets to have my superhero name too. Fuck you. Like Hawkeye,
Yeah.
Wolverine. It's just such a nice feeling.
I think
Um,
if there's an instance like that in DC, but it's not coming to mind.
the only ones I could see doing that would be Superman.
Green Lantern kind of does that with Alan Scott and Jade, but it's more just that she becomes a Green Lantern as well after Alan Scott gets grandfathered into the modern idea of Green Lantern.
Wasn't it the idea of like his ring was all the magic cast off from the big lantern?
I think so. I'm not super familiar with Green Lantern.
That's why his is magic based and the rest of the Green Lanterns are quote unquote science.
Yeah, there's
The
science
science
fiction.
the science in DC has always been a lot more hinky than in Marvel, and Marvel's hinky as fuck.
Well, that's because they don't ever make an attempt to explain it like Marvel does. We're just like, yeah, here's this complicated shit from space. It works like this. Now shut up and tell stories with it.
Well, Marvel's over here going like, no. See, here's the thing: gamma radiation within the Marvel universe is radiation, but it's also a magical energy source that comes from the below and involves a green door. What?
Sick, bro.
Read Immortal Hulk, folks. It's good.
Um,
So here's the ultimate question I have: do you
all right.
think this variant is the baddie?
I think she could be, or she could be like a mentor figure for Loki that leads him to the actual big bad, or stuff and silly like we find out the big bad was the timekeepers all along.
I can see that. Also, what do you? Okay, because this variant is meant to imply to be Lady Loki, but I've also seen some theories of could this be Lady Loki from another timeline who is the Enchantress?
Yeah, I saw that shit going around, but I mostly took it as, oh, people just saw Blonde and they fought Enchantress.
I mean, yeah, because like honestly that's a thing that disappointed me. Because when I think Lady Loki, I think the giant goddamn flowing black raven hair with
Yeah,
Lady Loki.
and that's kind of why I was like, "Oh no," because I was really expecting because the photo Tom Hiddleston shared of them together on set, she had fucking black hair, and so I was like, "Oh, so yeah, that's what she'll look like." It's kind of different than it is in the comics. It was much more is shoulder length and it was wavy. But I guess that was like a screen test or some shit. And they either she's naturally blonde or they had her dye it blonde for the show. And that's why I immediately went, oh no, Loki's a cutie. I wasn't expecting this. You
But
didn't warn me, Kevin Feige, you fucker. You fucker.
me and Kevin Feige have your number on that shit, man.
Yeah.
No, I I'm not sure what to believe because they're definitely playing into the whole predeterminism and everything. And I'm already predisposed to not liking the timekeepers of the MCU because they're going like, "Oh no, multiverse is bad." Because I'm a big comics fan, and I go like, "No, fuck you, multiverse is good. multiverse, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm just going like, no, fuck you. Let the MCU have a multiverse. Let it be in the Mulder multiverse. Just do it. Um, I really liked Loki and Mobius's growth as friends.
Yeah.
They really felt like buddies, like friends.
I also liked getting to really establish what Mobius and Rensler's relationship is.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, also again, I really enjoy the apocalypse like little plot detail.
Yeah. Like I said, it feels like something straight out of Davies era Doctor Who in a good way.
And that's the era of Doctor Who I like.
Mhm. Whereas I like all Doctor Who, but I can find real foibles in the Davies era as well as the Moffat era. Now that we've gotten some distance from it, I'm like, okay, yeah, this and this was dumb.
But nah, Russell T Davies, the era of Doctor Who is just my kind of shit. Fun,
Yeah.
lighthearted, goofy. No. But I think that's kind of it for Loki. We can't the aesthetic is still top notch, on point. We didn't get a ton of like, ooh, here's Easter eggs, other than like the name Ego and Sakaar showing up on a screen.
Yeah. It was a solid episode. The only real qualm I could have with it is maybe it was a little too obvious that the Pompeii set was just like a couple of cardboard buildings and a green screen.
Yeah. It would have been cool if they got to go into the thing they use for Mandalorian.
Yeah. I mean, that
Uh,
might have still been it, but maybe they didn't calibrate it right.
yeah. No, I'm looking at the list of places that were mentioned in this episode, so I'm assuming these were on the screen. Asgard, Nidavellir, Morag, 0259-S, Sakar, Vietnam, Portugal, Vormir, Thornton, Cookerville, Peru, Finland, Bacarana, Colombia, Ego, Titan.
Is she fucking with Thanos? That's dangerous.
Dude, she's fucking with Star Fox and Mentor.
Starfox. That's the secret cameo in the next episode. Starfox just shows up and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna sex you into behaving." It's the '60s.
Hey, I'm gonna smell good. God damn. That's why Thanos is pissed all the time. Is like, my brother got smell good powers.
And I
That's
got a
fucking
dumb
bullshit.
chin.
That's fucking bullshit, man. And the rest of the Eternals are going like, yeah, no, that kind of makes sense. That I can get that. Because remember, folks, Thanos is an Eternal.
I wonder if they'll ever say that in the movie.
Why do you think they're doing the fucking Eternals?
I really hope that that's the impetus for them deciding to be activists. They're like, nah, one of our boys fucked a lot of shit up. We might want to stop that from happening again.
Yeah. New York, USA, Tokyo, Japan, Hala, which is the home planet of the Kree.
Ooh.
Kingsport, USA, Xandar, which is the home of the Nova Corps, Beijing, China, Madrid, Spain, Jotunheim, and Portland, Oregon.
That makes sense. Fuck that town.
Oh, Kingsport was a actual town in an old Marvel comic.
Huh.
Kingsport is a fictional town in Massachusetts created by H.P. Lovecraft, adapted in Tower of Shadows 1970, a horror anthology in Marvel. That's a fucking dope ass little Easter egg.
Yeah. Look at that.
Fucking go on it. Fucking set dressers of Marvel's Loki. Fucking dig that. Yeah, no. Can't wait for the next episode. Because we're gonna get some major unseen footage.
Probably.
Very much so. Hey buddy.
Hey.
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 You got don't fucking say hey like that.
Fucking put my hand on your shoulder and just go, hey.
Don't no. Give me toy news before I fucking kick you off of this podcast.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and just say it from the outset. This is a much lighter week than last week. We don't have near the volume of news we did last week. The quantity is much diminished, and I thought the quality was going to be as well for a few days there, but then something happened, and it was all sunshine and rainbows from there. But
Did you get a Supergirl figure announced?
no, not quite that good. Not quite that good. It's not the best week of my life, but
Oh, hey, speaking of DC figures, Todd McFarlane did a cool interview about his Spawn initiative coming up soon with Comic Pop.
Yeah, I need to watch that. But first of all,
I started watching it. Todd McFarlane cannot stand still.
I'm seriously convinced Todd McFarlane has Parkinson's and just hasn't gotten diagnosed. Because like he does regular monthly videos where he's just like, "Hey, here's the next 50 fucking toys I'm making," and he's like banging and wanging all around his fucking office.
See, here's the thing. Watching the interview, I just got serious ADHD vibes. Like he just couldn't. He did not feel comfortable standing still.
That's entirely possible. But hey, since we've talked so much about the man, let's talk some about his toys. We got the official full reveal of the DC Multiverse Armored Batman from Dark Knight Strikes Again.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's okay.
It looks very okay. It also looks different than the original solicitation pictures, which were shown in previews, where it had kind of a bluish armor and a yellow belt. I think this is more comic accurate, where it's now like cobalt black armor and a gray belt. Um, I really like the sculpting on the undersuit. It almost looks like actual cloth.
Yeah, for a second I was like, that looks like Mayfexy.
Yeah.
Then I saw the joints and I was like, oh, damn, that's pretty good.
Yeah, this is probably one of the better figures that's come out of this line. However, it's for a book that I've always avoided reading because of how fucking put on a pedestal it is. And it's also a design that's been made like a half dozen times in the last 2 years.
Snow Cone popped in and just went, eh.
Yeah. So I'm not super into it, but I've heard some other people saying they were kind of hyped for it, so good for them.
It looks too dark because I remember in the comic it was a little bit lighter.
Okay. But then also we got a Marvel Legends reveal at the beginning of the week, which is from their Gamerverse subline, which is of video game based figures and is exclusive to GameStop. We're getting a figure of the the PlayStation Miles Morales
Oh, neat.
in translucent.
That's for his invisible mode.
Yeah. And get this. They haven't done a regular one yet.
That's dumb.
They're doing the fucking variant first, which had me really posting the blinking man emoji gif thing.
I mean, overall the sculpt looks cool, but like it's hard to judge it on what it will look like entirely. I've seen some Gamerverse in Target though.
Yeah, because there was a Gamerverse wave that came out alongside the Avengers game, but since then all the Gamerverse stuff has been GameStop exclusive.
Here's the thing, I know damn well they're just going to keep using modern games, but imagine getting PS1 blocky ass Spider-Man.
I mean, I would love it if they did that, and I wouldn't put it past them too, because fucking the Star Wars team just revealed their gaming subline, Gaming Greats. They're doing a figure of a random Wookiee character from Knights of the Old Republic I'd never heard of.
Sick.
Yeah. But yeah, this figure doesn't look super hype to me. I'd much rather a regular version, and I just don't like translucent variants in general. So it's very much a like, okay, that exists. That's a thing. All right. But then we have the exact opposite of that. Have we talked about the Mezco 112 collective line on this show before?
We've talked about some. We showed. I think we've actually talked about it more on Modular Components, which is a podcast featuring me, Vac, and
whoever the fuck else.
Yeah, where we just talk about random things that we went through over the week.
Yeah, it's a very free-form show, so often it turns to just general toy collecting talk between me and Snowcone. If you
or
want
video game talk between me and Cody. But like I'm thinking, like look at the head of this Solid Snake toy. I'm thinking like do that, but for the PS1 Spider-Man.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But this week, Mezco followed up on a tease they did at the beginning of the year, which was just a teaser image of 4 classically styled Fantastic Four figures running at a what looked to be the outline of the monster from Fantastic Four #1. and we didn't know what it was going to be, how it was going to be released. We didn't know anything about that. This was like way back in January, February times. And just this week, we got the full reveal and solicitation of the Mezco 112 Collective Marvel Comics Classic Fantastic Four box set. This is 4 figures with full cloth clothing, multiple option parts, and light up features in a box set, a metal tin box set. It's going to be $420.
Damn.
Yeah. And they look fucking gorgeous. Like, it's one of those things where if money was not an object to me, I would jump on this shit because this looks like the best FF figures ever made.
In the words of Johnny Storm, blaze it.
Also, I said 4. It's technically 5 because Herbie's in this box set as well, but they have him listed as one of Mr. Fantastic's accessories.
That's fucking dope as shit. Oh, it's larger hands and boots for stretching this.
Mm-hmm. Larger neck, fucking bearded head, and the ultimate nullifier.
Man, I'm going through all the photos.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like modern bearded Mr. Fantastic, but it's also to represent, well, he was working very hard to fight Galactus and the first thing with Galactus. Oh man, that's cool.
Fucking the shield effects for Sue are so cool.
I like how she's still called Invisible Woman, even though the costume and era that they're trying to do, she would have been the Invincible Girl. I really like how they did that, just because, you know,
Johnny coming with a fucking alternate head and neck to do the flame on and a bunch of effects parts. It's such a simple solution that works so well.
Oh yeah, the thing looks amazing.
Yeah. He comes with the fucking trench coat, hat, and glasses, a bendable light stand, and a girder. Oh my god, I forgot to mention, Johnny has a fucking light up flaming base.
Damn, this is like, hey, B-Mask, make us a Fantastic Four toy. All right, here's all the things you have to have.
Yeah. Also, that original teaser image, if I can copy the link here, they changed it. This is the original teaser image, and they've changed it to have a silhouette of Doctor Doom.
Man, if they make a Doom,
they have to make a Doom. And I could also see them putting out alternate, like a full-on Flame-On Johnny and an invisible, a clear variant Sue. I could see those coming down the line. I could see them re-releasing this box set with alternate costumes.
Man, imagine like later era FF uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
Like Hickman era short sleeve uniforms. Oh, that'd be dope.
Or like the white and the blue. The
burn. Dude, I know Johnny Storm wasn't there, but Future Foundation.
Yeah. Ooh. Get a Spider. They've done Spider-Mans. You could do a Future Foundation.
Future Foundation Spider-Man. That'd be fun to see.
Fucking release a She-Hulk just to go with these guys.
Oh man.
God. It's one of the best toy reveals I've seen in a while. Like I said, if money was no object. And from a similar strata, but from a scale I do not care about, we had a Hot Toys Marvel reveal this week. We are getting Black Widow in snowsuit and Taskmaster from the upcoming Black Widow movie.
As expected.
Yeah. And they look like the people from the movie. I don't know what you want. I don't know 1/6 scale. It's not my thing. I like these. I like Movie Taskmaster, by the way. Movie Taskmaster looks badass, in my opinion. He looks like a fucking evil common rider.
I can definitely get that vibe, especially when he's using the Black Panther claws.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I can dig it. Part of me wishes it was a little bit more skull-like, like have him paint the eyes and the goggles, like the one character from the Halo games.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Or don't, and just paint like regular eyes so he looks like Kamen Rider X8.
He just fucking rocks up and takes off his helmet like, yo, what's up? My name's Dan the Man Kuroto. I'm in the MCU now because fuck you.
I mean, by technicality, the Kamen Riders are in Marvel continuity.
Mm-hmm.
For people who want to know the path to get to that, Captain America is Marvel 616 continuity. An alternate version of Captain America is created through the team known as Battle Fever J. the Super Sentai team. It's technically an alternate version of Captain America.
That's the only pre-Jew Ranger Sentai I've actually watched all the way through.
Weird. But technically, because they are referenced by Captain America, any Sentai that interacts with them is considered Marvel canon due to that interaction being within continuity. And
So
thus,
thanks to Superhero Wars, every Sentai and writer is in fucking Marvel continuity.
exactly. Also, Kikaider, Hikaider, Inazuman.
Yeah.
Basically, any Shotaro Ishinomori live action production that is crossed over with Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, technically Marvel canon.
Because of a series of meetings Stan Lee had in the 70s, the fucking Marvel Universe spread like the plague through Toei.
Exactly. And like, I'm not shooting smoke out my ass. Battle Fever J technically does involve some licensing from Marvel.
Yeah.
So,
But fucking last reveal of the week, I believe this happened, yeah, this was yesterday. We got a new fan channel exclusive Spider-Man retro collection figure, and it is a brand new Sandman.
it's a good looking Sandy.
Yeah, it's actually based off of the Hydro Man they did in the Far From Home wave.
I mean, you don't need much for Sandman.
Yeah, a lot of people were actually freaking out and getting mad over this figure because they didn't like how fucking classic it looks and how it's not as big as the Build-A-Figure they did way back when. But I'm like, who fucking cares? It's comic accurate and it's a Sandman for people who either don't want to or aren't able to track down that whole wave. This looks great. Like, I've wanted a Sandman for a long, long time, but I've never been able to get one because it's a Build-A-Figure, and Build-A-Figures are either a pain in the ass or super expensive to get if you're not already buying the wave when it comes out. So I'm definitely going to snatch this up whenever I see it in like a GameStop or my local toy store.
Yeah. And especially makes sense because they're kind of starting to rebuild the Sinister Six in the comics.
Yeah.
Makes total sense to have a brand new Sandman on the shelves.
Yeah, and the only like real like, oh, but Hasbro I have with this is just me wanting them to make more toys because I see like, oh, you're doing a character you already did as a Build-A-Figure in this line, and you did that before with Kingpin. Could we maybe get a classic lizard and a classic rhino in this subline, please and thank you?
That'd be fucking dope. That'd be fucking good shit.
But that's all the toy news that's fit to print.
All right. So, do you want me to talk about Venom and then let you go on about your simping, and then we'll talk about X-Men?
Uh, let's do a little bit of back and forth because I actually have one other book to talk about before my simping. So how about I do pre-simping, you do Venom, and then I'll do simping, and then we'll do X-Men.
Right, because there's 3 X books, but it's all Hellfire Gala, and it's very...
It's all the fucking same shit. It's all under the head of the same guy. It all fits together.
It's like, it's a rich tapestry.
But no, the first thing I read this week was Nightwing number 81 by Mr. Tom Taylor, who, by the way, got announced to be doing a Marvel book this week. Fucking alternate reality, fucking crazy concept bullshit, much like how he started in DC. Ooh, I'm low-key hyped for that.
Yeah, but I've read basically the premise is like, one day all the electricity on Earth failed.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, ooh, that's interesting considering how many tech heroes Marvel has.
Yeah. But this issue starts off with Melinda Zuko taking her mayoral. I have trouble saying that word apparently.
Mayoral.
Yeah, she's taken her oath of office. And she immediately walks out of the courtroom and into a room where Blockbuster is just surrounded by other gangsters, and they all start glad handing her and going like, "All right, so what are you gonna do for our city?" And she goes, "Yeah, so my plan is just basically to make you guys more powerful and wealthy and make sure your reach starts to extend beyond this city." And he's like, fucking sick. And then we cut back to Nightwing, where he's still facing off with Heartless like he was at the end of last issue. And Heartless picks up a fucking fire extinguisher and puts out the fire and tells the kids Nightwing was protecting to run. And he's like, and Nightwing just goes, what are you doing? And he goes, I don't want to watch them die. I want to watch them run. He's here to scare the shit out of people. He's not here to fucking maim and murder, which is very interesting for a villain. But he pulls out his fucking heart stealing gun and he tries to hit Nightwing with it, and Nightwing goes at him and immediately starts kicking the shit out of him. And in the narration, Dick is just like, oh, he's really fucking strong. He's got strength and speed. He's got fucking powers. But he doesn't have a whole lot of skill. So very quickly he gets the upper hand again. And basically it comes to a stalemate with him and Heartless, where Heartless is just like, all right, I don't really want to fight you right now. So how about I tell you that I'm going to blow up the pier you sent all those kids to? And that was my plan anyway. So you might want to fuck off and save them. And he's like, oh shit. Okay. So he goes to the pier, and right after it blows up, and Tim and fucking the dog that hasn't been named just yet are on the pier, and they're trying to keep the kids calm. And he's like, Dick, what the fuck are we gonna do? And he's like, I don't know, Babs, what the fuck are we gonna do? And she's like, hang on, I'll call the Coast Guard. And for a minute it seems like nobody's going to come. Dick fucking sends out a mayday like 3 or 4 times, and finally he's just like, oh shit, we might have to come up with stuff. And immediately like a bunch of fucking boats start pulling up that are run by just regular people, and he's like, okay, thanks for reaffirming my faith in the city. I'ma pass out now. And he wakes up the next day in his apartment. And we get a cute little scene where he's talking to Babs and Tim, and we find out that Tim has named the dog Bitewing. And we get an adorable fucking panel of it wagging its tail and barking like it approves. And he's like, I was thinking I was gonna name her Haley. And Tim immediately goes, everyone in this room has 2 names. Does it really matter if the dog does as well? And Babs just goes, yeah, I have 3. It's fucking hilarious.
Is the dog a pirate pet?
I'm sorry?
Is the dog a pirate pet?
Yeah, it's missing a leg.
I love how that's kind of like a go-to little nomenclature for animals and pets that had to have something amputated.
Yeah. But yeah, Bitewing is fucking adorable, honestly, because like it's only been in a few issues so far, and I'm super attached. I'm super attached to it and how cutely it's being drawn. Like I think I said in your server, if this comic keeps going as it has been, Bitewing might replace Crypto as the best dog in the DC universe, in my opinion.
Ace the Bat Hound, though.
Ace the Bat Hound is overrated.
But just imagine Ace the Bat Hound being the very stoic, aggressive dog protecting this sweet, cute pupper.
Yeah. And fucking just Kanga the Wonder Kangaroo hanging out as well.
Right, Nev Kangaroo.
Yeah. Wonder Woman has a pet kangaroo. It's canon. It's still canon in DC. She fucking said she missed her kangaroo in an arc in Rebirth where she was stuck in an alternate universe for a long time.
Isn't that because they didn't know what to fucking do with Wonder Woman?
Yeah, but that was also Tom King, and I fucking trust Tom King with continuity shit. He knows his shit.
Is Tom King the only writer that's like exclusive to DC? Because you're like Tom Taylor is coming over to Marvel to do a book or 2.
Yeah, he's had an exclusive DC contract since he started on Batman.
That's what I'm saying is like, is he the only exclusive guy right now?
I don't know if he's the only one, but I do know he is exclusive, at least at the moment.
Is Tom King allowed to do indie books?
No, he has an exclusive contract with DC. That's why he does so many DC books all the time.
Then I think he might, because like Donny Cates is doing indie books. Chip Zdarsky is doing indie books, or maybe like Marvel has a different deal of like, if you are writing for, you can only write for us, Marvel. Please don't write for DC, like a gentleman's agreement kind of deal.
I mean, when it comes to comics, Marvel is kind of the AEW, whereas DC is much more the WWE, at least in how they handle their business.
I mean, Marvel also has Daddy Disney looking down its shoulder, so they can't be scummy about it.
Mm-hmm.
DC has Warner Media though, but I think Warner Media is just super hands off with DC. They don't like it.
Warner Media literally doesn't care what the fuck DC does as long as they can make fucking movies and TV shows based off of the characters. As perfectly exemplified by fucking Warner execs this week going, yo, Batman doesn't eat pussy. And then DC themselves going, yo, Batman totally eats pussy. Calm down.
Goddamn, I posted a fucking Zack Snyder tweet. The first Zack Snyder tweet I genuinely think, you know what, Zack Snyder, you good egg. Where he just posted a picture of Batman eating out Catwoman going canon. I'm like, fuck yeah.
That was the tweet heard around the world this week. Because fucking, I was wondering when we were going to get to it and who it was going to be that said it. And of course it was fucking me. But that was the fucking crux of comics on social media this week, was just people going, well, DC said Batman doesn't eat pussy. And I'm like, no, Warner's said Batman doesn't eat pussy. DC literally the next day put out a press release saying Batman totally eats pussy because people were flipping out so much.
I also love how, like, a lot of comic book fans immediately took that and was like, no, Batman would eat pussy. Like, it's not a question. It's like, no, that's that's like saying Spider-Man doesn't wear black and doesn't wear blue and red. It's like, no, he always wears blue and red. Of course Batman eats pussy. What are you talking about?
Have you seen the issues where he fucks Catwoman? There's literally like softcore porn of him fucking Catwoman that's been published in actual DC comics.
But I just like how it was never spoken, but everybody internalized, no, Bruce Wayne would totally go down on a chick. Like, that was just something everybody knew about the character and was contradicted. Everybody was like, no.
It's like saying Iron Man doesn't sleep around.
No, Iron Man's also fucking eats out women.
Yeah. No. Fucking, because the exact quote from the Warner's execs, because they were telling the Harley Quinn showmakers that they couldn't put a scene of him eating out Catwoman in their show, and the exact quote they used was, "Heroes don't do that." And everybody went, "No, that is fucking bullshit. Any man who eats pussy is a fucking hero."
Yeah. The only one I have a feeling wouldn't be immediately 100% down with eating out some pussy would be Steve Rogers, and that's just because he's a little old-fashioned and he just needs to get up to it.
Steve would need a running start.
He wouldn't say no. He'd just go like, "All right, ma'am, I just need to. Can you give me a second?
Let me look up one of those tutorial videos on YouTube Sam was telling me about."
Bucky was immediately all for it, though.
Oh yeah. Bucky's the fucking playboy. But getting back to this Nightwing comic.
Nightwing also eats pussy.
Oh, Nightwing definitely fucking eats pussy, dude.
He's also the one who initiates it more often.
Oh yeah.
He's a gentle lover.
Nightwing is even like, are you Nightwing is the guy that goes, "Are you sure you want to suck my cock? I don't really need it."
He's telling me about the Nightwing book.
Okay. So they're like, "All right, well, we fucking saved the kids and that shit's over with for now. So how about we deal with the fact that the daughter of the guy that killed your parents just became mayor of the city?" And he's like, "What? Fucking who is this lady? How have I never heard of her?" And Babs is like, "Yeah, I fucking dug up her files and whatnot. She's Zuko's daughter from his first marriage. He was out of her life before he ever came into contact with your parents. He technically didn't raise her, but she was raised by the Maroney crime family." And Dick just goes, "Oh, that's so much worse. Awesome." So
multiple layers of dumb shit. Great.
Yeah, it keeps piling too. Just wait. And so he's like, "All right, I guess I should go investigate that. Dick, can you give me a second to get back into my costume?" And Babs goes, "No, you have a concussion." He's like, "What? You fell over and hit your head on a log on the side of the pier. You have a concussion. You need to stay here and rest." It's like, "Fine." And he literally just waits for her to be asleep before he puts on his costume and decides to go investigate Melinda Zuko's apartment. And immediately gets his ass kicked by the fucking bodyguard that's there. And then Melinda Zuko shows up with a baseball bat and is like, "It's okay, I've got him," and just knocks him out again. And then in the next panel when he wakes up and he's like, "All right, unconscious twice in the same day. That's not gonna be good on my next doctor's appointment. Anyway, I'm not wearing my mask. Oh shit, I'm not wearing my mask. Melinda Zuko knows my identity. And then we see that she's standing right there as he opens his eyes. And she just goes, "You're Dick Grayson?" And he breaks out of the ropes she has him tied up with, and he goes, You know me? I fucking know you too. You work for a Maroni crime family. You're the daughter of Tony Zuko. You're a fucking evil bitch. I'm gonna kick your ass." And she just goes, "No, I'm not. I thought I was for a long time, but I learned the truth. My real father's name was John Grayson. I'm your half sister." And that's how the comic ends.
Question, wasn't that character an ex of Dick's? Or are they unrelated people? Like this is a brand new character.
This is a brand new character. She was
Okay.
introduced in the first issue of this run.
Okay, because for some reason my brain was like going like, oh, this is an old ex of Dick's for some reason.
No. And I went and I read that and I went, wow, that's going to piss off a lot of people because it's a big old retcon. But personally, I'm like, we'll see how this plays out because it's an interesting idea to give Dick Grayson a sister, but it entirely depends on how it goes. Like, is she going to be alive by the end of this run is the big thing I'm concerned about because fucking with how shit like this normally goes down, they might just kill her to give some fucking tragedy edge to Dick. And if they do that, that'll be fucking bullshit. But if it's just like, nah, Dick Grayson has a half sister who shows up in his life every once in a while to help out with shit from now on in comics, I'd be fine with that.
You mean like Teresa Parker?
Yeah, exactly like Teresa Parker.
Like, genuine, that was my first thought when you were bringing that up. I was like, oh yeah, like Teresa Parker. Also, I can imagine that character, if she sticks around, being like the Jim Gordon to Dick's Batman.
Yeah. Also, if I don't mention it, somebody will get mad at me. I don't know if you noticed, but in that page I put in the chat, the shirt Babs is wearing is of the fucking Batman slapping Robin meme.
Yeah.
Cute.
I'm trying to imagine what the context for that shirt would be in universe.
I feel like that meme would probably still exist in universe because Batman and Robin, as much as DC tries to pretend they're urban legends in Gotham sometimes, they're fucking public figures in the DC universe.
Yeah, there would just be a different context for the meme. It
Yeah.
wouldn't come from an old cartoon. All right. So, anything else about Nightwing you want to talk about?
It was a solid issue. It felt a little like this is between major real good issues, but like it's solid transitional stuff.
Okay, so first up, I'm going to talk about Venom, but I only really read 4 comics this week. All of them almost completely irrevocably changed the Marvel Universe in some way, so it's great.
Sick.
Okay, so this is Venom issue 200. This is the last issue of the Donny Cates run.
Oh, did they give him the adrenaline momentum? Is he gonna go get him? Is he Venom?
Oh, he's Venom. He's Venom, all right. There's some Venom in this, man. So we get like a little recap of just Donny Cates' entire run of like, oh yeah, I was a villain who fought Spider-Man, but then a bunch of shit happened, and in this run I fought some dragons, I fought some gods, I became a god, and with the King in Black defeated, my fight
fucking Kamen Rider guy.
Oh no, legit! Like he's like, we'll get into this, and he goes like, my fight begins as we see a Venom and several other symbiotes on an alien planet with a battle axe and a sword fighting like this army of cyborg reptile people, as like Venom is just wrecking shit on them and just kicking their ass, and then all the other symbiotes form onto the main Venom dude, and he turns into this giant Venom monster with like prehensile tentacle tongues as he's kicking ass, doing it more. And then then the captions go like, I realize I will never be alone again because now we are everywhere, as we see scenes from so many different places where alien symbiotes are just helping out people. Like on the planet Fallow, we helped the Valerian priests rebuild their ancestral home. On the deepest corners of space, we work in concert to repair the Great Rift. On the mountains of Wondergore, we rescue a pack of lost travelers. In Asgard, we meet Thor and the Parliament of Gods. I shake his hand. I can feel his grip, strong like stone, but I am not there. No, for the first time in my life, I am home. And we see a man. We see a Venom sitting on a throne of like black cables as he gets out of the chair, falls down, and he just like starts lunging and like coughing and all that kind of stuff. And we see Dylan Brock start to come downstairs and goes like, "Hey, I have to get ready for school. Let's get some breakfast." As some tentacle, some Venom symbiote turns into a cane, and you hear the man coughing, and he just says, "Give me a second." It's Eddie Brock, who's an old man now. The last issue, he was about like 30 years old. Now he looks like he's 60, 70 years old.
So this is a fucking Jeff Johns style last issue jump forward in time type thing.
No, this is not a jump forward. This is not a time skip.
Oh.
Eddie Brock is now the god of the symbiotes, but his core is still a man. So it is taking a toll on his body where it's now reached an equilibrium where he basically has mental control over everything, but it took a lot out of him, so now he's an old man.
Damn.
So he's helping his kid get ready for breakfast, does all the things. And goddamn, Eddie Brock and his Venom symbiote, like the OG Venom symbiote, are like being co-parents to Dylan. And the symbiote comes out and goes like, "Dylan, you're going to be late for school. Please go and collect your book bag. Eddie, you must rest. You cannot spend that much time connected to the hive." Because by saving that symbiote's now the most powerful symbiote of all of them because he is not directly connected to the hive and is an independent thinking being.
And it chose to be a house husband?
It chose to be a housemate to Eddie Brock and Dylan Brock because he loves them.
Sick.
And basically, he transforms into a pit bull and goes like, "All right, cool. I'm going to go walk Dylan to school so I can keep him safe and all that kind of stuff. You know, that's my mission. That's what I'm doing. I'm happy to just protect you because I love you guys." And Dylan's getting ready for school, and Eddie goes like, "Hey, are you fighting again? I don't want you to get into trouble at school. I want you to have a good, normal life." And Dylan's just going like, "Yeah, I'm doing okay." And then the other cat symbiote from earlier, the other symbiote that transforms into a cat from earlier in the arc, just goes like, "Hey, Spider-Man called you like 10 times. You're ready. You're late for your team up." And like Eddie Brock just goes like, "When did he call? Why didn't you tell me?" And the cat symbiote just goes like, "I don't work here." Throws his phone on the floor. So Dylan Brock and the symbiote are heading off to school, and Dylan basically asks, "Hey, what's your name? I want to know what I can specifically call you." And the symbiote is going like, "What do you mean?" And it's like, "What's your name? Say, can you share it with me?" And he goes like, "Yeah, I can. Hold on tight." As Dylan's like listening, like feeling it, and he starts to cry, and he just goes like, that was, thank you, I needed that." And it's just like really kind of sweet, and it's this weird comic book dynamic that you just go like, this is a sweet, wholesome family. Meanwhile, we're in a cafe where Spider-Man, not Peter Parker, he's in Spider-Man costume, lift up, eating a sandwich with Eddie Brock, and they're catching up. And Spider-Man's young. He's like the current Spider-Man. He's like, nothing's changed for him. And he goes like, "All right, yeah, on loan from Nick Spencer." And he goes like, and he basically goes like, "Hey man, sorry about the outfit." And Eddie goes like, "Yeah, it's a robbery on 4th, I know. You were doing Spider-Man shit." And Peter Parker goes like, "Yeah, it's kind of weird that you're now a omnipotent god." And Eddie goes like, "No, omnipresent. Omnipotent means I know everything. I don't. Omnipresent means I exist in all points at the same time. A bit of an exaggeration, but it's a more suitable term." And Spider-Man goes like, "Buddy, you're a dude. Are you okay?" And he goes like, "Yeah, I'm doing good." And Spider-Man acts like a grammar jerk and goes like, "No, Captain America does good. You're doing well." And goes like, "No, I'm doing good. I'm helping people out in the galaxy." And all that kind of stuff. And it's like, Spider-Man immediately goes Spider-Man on him and goes like, "Oh man, you're handling this so much better. You have so much strength. The strength that I didn't have, that I imposed that you had to have because I brought the symbiote here. All of this, it's all because I brought that first symbiote back to Earth because I wasn't strong enough. I just wanted I wanted to tell you that I owe you. You stepped up when I couldn't." And Eddie Brock basically goes, "Buddy, we've retconned that. There's been symbiotes on Earth forever. It's not completely your fault. Yes, the one that interacted with me was brought here by you, but it's not your fault completely." And Spider-Man just goes like, "Oh shit, okay. Well, that's a weight off my shoulders. Great."
Sick.
Well,
I was just saying, that's cool.
What? Yeah. So that's one bit of guilt that Spider-Man doesn't have anymore.
Hooray!
Now it's time to get rid of the other 50. But basically, Eddie goes like, "Hey, there's gonna be a robbery here soon," and Spider-Man goes like, "All right, cool." The robber walks into the cafe, and Spider-Man just turns around and goes like, "Hey, what's up? I'm Spider-Man." And Eddie Brock goes like, "All right, cool, I can handle this." Throws his symbiote cane, splashes a dude onto the wall with webbing. The cops show up and arrest him.
Hmm.
And basically, Eddie Brock and Spider-Man go like, "Hey, if you ever need it, I'm ready to team up. I'm ready to help you out. I mean, Ed, you're like a god now. I know this is a lot, but I'm still just me, Eddie, and I'm probably gonna need a lot of help. Maybe not how you helped in the
hit me. Their relationship now, because I made the comparison to Gaim earlier. Their relationship now is fucking Gaim and Drive.
Yeah, I'm a regular dude. You're a god. What's going on here?
That's cool. We're gonna get in my car, and we're gonna get in your car, and I'm gonna make it fly, and we're gonna destroy a thing that's totally not the Death Star.
But basically, Eddie goes like, "Hey, I may not need you because of your powers, but like I always need a friend, and I can always talk to you like that." And Spider-Man goes like, "All right, cool. Do you need help getting out of here?" And he goes like, "Nah, I can turn into a symbiote and fly out of here because I'm not really Eddie Brock. I'm not really here. I'm just a symbiote at proximity of Eddie Brock because I'm also part of the hive mind, so I can just transport between symbiotes wherever I want to be."
Wow.
So that's kind of now part of Eddie's power. And Spider-Man just goes like, "Okay, that was kind of cool." As Eddie Brock is now having meetings with the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Avengers, and the Quiet Council of Krakoa, basically going like, "All right, cool. Here's everything I've been through that I'm willing to tell you right now. Null, Symbiote, here's all the information you might not have had from King and Black, just to let you all know. But there is one big thing I am worried about, and I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. The Maker." Okay, so because the Maker used my symbiote to perfect his universe's symbiote so he could go back to the Ultimate Universe, and I believe he's going to come back here trying to turn our universe into his Ultimate Universe so he can join the Council of Reeds.
Oh shit, that's right. That's who the Maker is.
Yeah, he's Reed Richards from the Ultimate Universe, and so he's talking to all these different people.
Reed Richards is a fucking bastard.
Yeah, and he's basically going like, "So that may be a thing in the future, and we need to keep be aware of it. So just be ready for it, folks."
What
And
if that's the next event?
that'd be fucking great. Call it Marvel Ultimatum. This time we do it right.
Ultimatum, subtitle, the good one.
But basically, Captain America goes like, "We appreciate you bringing this to us. We'll be looking into this closely. An offer still stands, Eddie. You'll be welcome to fight along the Avengers anytime." And that's Captain America saying that to Eddie Brock, continuous fuck up of the Marvel universe.
Shoot, dude.
What?
I said shoot, dude.
Yeah, and Eddie just goes like, "Sorry, Cap. I'm just a stay-at-home dad these days. I appreciate it more than you know." And then Steve just goes like, "It's good to see you make a change." And Eddie just goes like, "Hey, if the invasion comes, you will have my help. I will help you fight. But in the meantime, I'm kind of an omnipresent god, and I can't be here all the time. I'm fractured. I can't help you all the time. I'm on reserve if you absolutely need my help, but like, just know that."
Yeah.
And Steve goes like, "Hey," and Eddie goes like, "But hey, I know a person who can be more regular to help you out on more things." And Steve goes like, "Okay, who?" And Eddie just goes like, "Oh, I know, you know him already." And then we get a giant splash page of Flash Thompson as Agent Anti-Venom.
Oh my god.
As we go back to Flash Thompson as he's walking through New York, kind of readjusting Captain America style, as some guardsmen show up and shoot the barista while he's getting coffee, and like he's going like, "Yo, motherfuckers, you just killed him." Because you're coming after me, and the guardsman going like, "Dude, we weren't coming after you. We were going after that alien motherfucker." Because he turns out he's not a human that they shot. The barista was a Venom symbiote who connected to a dude and just wanted to live his life as a human. Like not fight. He was no evil. I just wanted to be normal, you know. And Eddie's just going like, "Nah, fuck you," and he kills the guardsmen. And basically, all the people in the coffee shop are like going like, "Oh no!" And they see Eddie Brock and they think he's an alien. They don't think he's human. They think he's one of them.
Hmm.
So that's kind of Eddie. That's kind of Flash Thompson's status quo right now. He's kind of roaming around, helping when he can, but he's being ostracized and he's being looked at weird in the greater universe. And then we jump.
Kane.
Yeah. And then we jump to Ultimate Spider-Man circa 2000 as Dylan Brock is in literally Midtown High going to school, getting bullied by a dumb jock as we get this dope scene of like Dylan fighting back, beating him to shit, pushing him through a window, like almost stabbing this dude, and then we go back to the real world and he's not fighting. He's just like and he just gets knocked out. He's in the
Damn.
principal's office and like the principal's going like, why are you getting into fights? And Dylan just goes like, why am I the one always being brought here? I'm never start these things. And the principal just goes like, is everything okay? Is everything okay at home? And Dylan just goes like, great. And he goes like, why can't you seem to stay out of trouble? Why can't you stop fighting? And Dylan just goes like, I've been fighting my whole life. As Dylan is heading back home in the rain with Venom symbiote, and he's just lamenting of like, yeah, I know my dad's doing dope stuff, but I wish he'd be my dad more often. I feel like I'm lost. I feel like because I lost my powers in King of Black, I don't know who I am. I don't know where I'm going. I feel lost and directionless. I feel like a teenager.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, he it's great. Great work on Dylan. Like he's immediately relatable. And then the Venom symbiote hears someone in trouble. And like Dylan goes like, "Oh man, we need to help him." And he's going like, "Dylan, I told your dad that I'd keep you safe. This is the opposite of safe." And Dylan goes like, "Nah, bitch, we need to help. That's what my dad would do." Because he sees his dad as a fucking hero. And so we see this fucking loser in a jack-o'-lantern costume, and he's trying to mug this old lady, and the old lady like gets away, and she goes like, "Thanks, kid. Thank you for getting me out of this situation." And Dylan's just like trying to figure out what to do, and the Venom symbiote goes like, "All right, Dylan, get behind me." As he grows big and huge to scare the jack-o'-lantern jackass, and he jack-o'-lantern fires his gun. It goes through the Venom symbiote and hits Dylan in the heart. And immediately the Venom symbiote's going like, "Oh shit, I fucked up." And like the jack-o'-lantern's like freaking out too. It's like, I didn't mean to kill him. Like, oh my god, this has just gone to shit. No one's happy. And then Dylan just goes like, "Hey, tell my dad I tried to do good." And Venom symbiote goes like, "No, we will tell him together." As the Venom symbiote slowly encapsulates Dylan to heal him and turn him in to the brand new Venom.
Yeah.
And just look at this fucking design for the new Venom.
Oh, I have that figure.
Because it's
That's the
90s as hell.
fucking that's the fucking monster Venom that they repainted and released as a deluxe as Eddie Brock Venom.
But he has chains and all that kind of stuff, and he beats the jack-o'-lantern dude, and like he saves he gets out of the situation. And Eddie Brock goes like, "Well, that didn't take long because he knew exactly what would happen. That they would team up and turn into Venom." And Dylan goes, "You're not mad?" And he goes like, "Well, I knew this was gonna happen. I just felt like you would do that. It doesn't, but I haven't been there for you, and I know that, and I'm sorry for that. But like, I know how aimless you feel, and if this can help you do good, and you feel like you can do it, I'll help you. There's no safer place in the galaxy than that symbiote." And so they come to an agreement that Dylan basically can be a superhero on Earth while Eddie Brock is being Venom God. And like
Yeah.
and Eddie Brock's going like, "Hey man, I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna be a mentor to you. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna be your dad."
Oh my god, it's Venom Beyond.
It is Venom Beyond. And oh my god, like legit, like at the end of this, Eddie's just going like, when I first wore that symbiote, I had so much hatred in me, so much darkness, but eventually it taught me that I could be a better man, that I could be so much more. But you don't have that darkness. You have to let the world beat. You have never let the world beat you down, no matter how much it is thrown at you. And now you're going to have something I never had. What? Me, us, and we're stronger when we're together. Now, let me get a better look at that new suit, huh? And Eddie and Dylan gets back into the suit, and it's like, and he just goes like, "I think it's kind of cool." And Eddie goes like, "Yeah, it's big. I wanted to look scary. You sure about the chains?" "I don't know. I thought webs were out of played out maybe. Plus, all the comics I read growing up had chains. I just like them."
God damn it.
Hey, it's
Also,
yours.
like, just to show I'm not bullshitting. So when the Venom movie came out, they did a Monster Venom Build-A-Figure wave, and then I think it was early last year. They repainted that Build-A-Figure and released it as a deluxe and said it was Eddie Brock Venom.
Yeah. I mean, that's like early comics Eddie Brock, so.
Yeah.
And Eddie goes like, "Hey man, it's your suit." And so Dylan goes like, "Hey, you don't mind if I use the name, right? I mean, you're Venom. I'm not." And he goes like, "No, son, you aren't Venom, and neither am I. I don't understand what you. We are Venom. We are Venom together." And basically turning the mental psychosis of early Venom, just repeatedly calling themselves we, and just going like, "No, it is a sign of togetherness. It is a sign of family. We are Venom." Ah.
I
And
am
basically,
Venom of the clan Venom. Fuck you.
And basically, it ends with Eddie Brock going like, "All right, kid, I hear some trouble going on. We need to help out some people. So go be Venom." And it ends with this fucking splash page. And goddamn, this is the perfect end to Donny Cates' Venom because it's all about fatherhood and passing things on. And this is a perfect end.
Where'd you go?
This is so good. I'm so happy it ended like this. Also, the people who worked on the book are waving goodbye in the window.
Aw, that's adorable.
God damn, I am so excited for what can happen next with Venom because it's just this edgy 90s revivalist of a comic book ends on such a hopeful, optimistic note, and I love it.
That's honestly really cool.
So, I can't wait for the new run of Venom because we have so much cool shit. We have God Eddie, Dylan Venom, and Flash Thompson Anti Venom all going on at the same time. Like, that's dope because it's basically what if Spider Man was Venom with Dylan? What if Venom was Venom with Flash Thompson? And what if Venom was Doctor Strange with Eddie Brock?
Sounds
So,
sick, bro.
so tell me about the simping.
I will tell you about my fucking wife, and you will be respectful because this is the best first issue of a comic I have read in a long ass time. Okay, like
Last time.
I went in and I genuinely was really fucking nervous as I cracked open this first issue. I say cracked open. I read it digitally. And because like it's Tom Taylor. I love Tom Taylor. It's my favorite character in fucking anything ever. Getting a huge ass spotlight like she's never gotten before. And he was, and like the way he talked about Supergirl, I was like, that's an interesting pitch, but I don't know if you get Supergirl the same way I do. Oh no, is this going to be the first Tom King thing I don't like? Am I too precious with this character? Am I a real fuckboy? Okay, let's just
I mean,
take it
yes,
as it
you are a
comes.
real fuckboy,
Shut up.
but
So this issue opens, and this series is not from Kara's perspective, or at least this first issue is not. In this first issue, we are following via narration Rufy, who is a young alien girl who I don't believe has ever appeared in DC Comics before. She is made for this book, and she basically tells through somewhat flowery narration, which it's explained as she's talking in past tense. She's telling this story like it was years and years ago, which is an interesting way of explaining the somewhat flowery dialogue from her in her narration boxes. But then she speaks very flowery in the actual present in her dialogue boxes, and I was like, what the fuck is up with this? And then like somebody she's talking to goes like, oh, you're very well educated for a child. You're very well educated for a female child. You're very well educated for a female poor child. And I'm like, okay, that's the kind of fucking, that's the society we're dealing with. All right, that's good world building. That's really terrible world building from a certain perspective, but it's good world building from a writing perspective, Tom King. Way to fucking go. But basically the book opens with her telling the story of how her father was a good man who ran a rock farm with his 6 sons and his one beloved daughter, and he was always nice to strangers. And a stranger came to their farm, asked for a night's shelter and a meal. He provided it, and the next morning they got into an argument over how their new king is running things. And he was stabbed to death with a massive fucking sword, and the thief disappeared into the morning mists. And Rufy found his body, pulled the sword out extraordinarily easily, and she's like, oh, this is a cocky ass motherfucker who was sent by the king to test random farmers to prove that they're loyal. And he is so full of himself and so confident in his job that he didn't even stab my dad properly, left him to die in a way that practically dares us to come after him because he knows we won't. And she talks about her family basically spent the next day yelling about like what the fuck they were going to do if they were going to go after this guy. And she's like, all my brothers meant well. They were clearly trying to be noble in their blustering, but none of them were going to fucking do anything. I was the only one who was going to do anything, so I had to. And we see her sneaking out of the house, and her mom's out there fucking peeling a potato, and her mom's just like, hey, Rufy, where the fuck you going? And Rufy just goes, oh, sorry, Mom. I hope you're not real upset over Dad. I'm sorry you can't sleep either. And she goes, you trying to leave? Yeah. You really shouldn't. That's pretty dangerous. And you're also really young. Because the way Rufy's drawn, she looks like she's fucking 12 or 13. And she goes, maybe you should be like your brothers. Maybe you should just sit and wait for men's to come. And Rufy says, if I was going to sit and wait for the impossible, I'd sit and wait for Daddy to rise up from our good sod and hold me once again. But I am not inclined in that direction. And there's a pause, and her mom goes, all right, well, if you're going to go, take your dad's horse, because it's an ornery piece of shit, and I don't want to have to deal with it anymore. And so she goes to the nearest town, and she starts talking to various bounty hunters and stuff like that, and we see one in particular try to take advantage of her, basically just try to steal the sword, because she's offering the sword that was used to kill her dad as payment for anybody who can find and kill the guy who killed her dad. And he goes like, and this one bounty hunter goes like, oh yeah, I'll fucking do it. Just give me the sword and run along home. Don't worry about anything. And she goes, no, I want to see you kill the guy. You are going to take me to the guy and you are going to kill him for me in front of me so that I know the job is done. And he's like, all right, listen, girl. And he just slaps her so hard she falls on her ass. And he starts trying to walk out. And somebody grabs the sword that he's just sheathed in his loincloth. And he's like, what the fuck is going on today? Is this the is today the festival of impotent females? Remove your hand or I shall remove your fingers. And a blonde woman in a big old coat goes, what? No, stop for a second. Look, I'm going to take the sword back and give it to her. I'm going to give it to her. You just go away and we won't fight because it's my birthday. And he's like, how about you fucking take your hand off the sword or I'll beat your ass. And she pulls the sword out of his loincloth and goes, motherfucker, don't be mad. I'm 21 now, officially, which means it's okay. That's the truth and it's justice in the American way. And Kara is drunk off her ass because she's on a planet with a red sun for her 21st birthday.
Oh no.
Yeah.
The exact wrong time to pick a fight.
Yeah. And this guy is like, all right, you had your warning. I'm gonna beat you up. And she goes,
the Conan planet, like it's very Conan the Barbarian.
It's very Conan the Barbarian.
Okay. Because in my head I was thinking Western, but it's like Conan.
Mm-hmm. And I love Kara's drunk dialogue because it's just like it's the fucking drunk college friend who's always like, look, dude, I'm trying to be nice and have a good time with you, but if you keep being an asshole drunk, I'm gonna be a beat your ass drunk. Because he starts going like, all right, you had your warning. I wouldn't want to fight me neither. And she's like, no, don't do that. That's stupid. Fuck, you're still doing it? Okay, I'm gonna beat your ass, but I gotta finish my liquor first because I don't have any more money and I don't want it to get destroyed in the fight. And she smashes the bottle across his face and in doing so cuts up her own hand and goes, Oh shit, I forgot the stupid Ren's son. I have to hurt too. And they start having a little fight, and she pretty easily trounces him even though she's drunk. And we immediately get a panel that made me go like, "Oh no, I'm not in that image and I don't like it."
Uh, here's the here's the thing. Just so far of you describing all of this, I totally just want a segment of her explaining what she did to Clark, and him just looking like, "You did what?" While Lois is sitting there going like, "Yeah, girl, you go."
Yeah. And fucking John's just like, I have the coolest cousin ever. And immediately after this, she passes out and then wakes up the next day in a hotel room, or I guess the fucking medieval equivalent of a hotel room. And
And
she of course has a massive hangover, and the panel, she immediately goes, fuck. I mean, she doesn't say that, but it's censored out, so it's implied to be that. Especially because the next line is Rufy sitting on a bed next to her going, "You speak often of this fuck, especially when your agony becomes acute. This is your husband, correct?" And I'm like, well, it might as well be if we're being honest here. So letting that hang for a second. Okay. um, so she says, like, oh shit, I'm hungover. I'm gonna throw up. And she's like, you've been throwing up all night. I have cleaned the floor like 5 times. And she's like, wait, who the fuck are you? And she goes, I am Rufy Meyer Knoll, and I am witness to your skill and bravery. I would like to hire you to kill Krem of the Yellow Hills, the cheating king's agent who slew my father and left him in the dirt. Have you interest in such an arrangement? And there's a beat where there's like this fucking beautifully drawn panel of Kara like staring at her, and then she just froze up into a bucket, and Rufy's like, no, take your time, it's fine.
uh, she's just a fucking disaster. It's great.
Yeah, that's the character, man. People don't know. Supergirl is a fucking walking disaster who everybody thinks is an angel, and that's why I love her.
Because Clark is there and she's always on her best behavior.
Yeah. Because the next scene, we cut to a little later where Kara's getting on a boat to go across a lake to where her ship is, and Rufy has followed her, and she's basically like, "Sweetie, I it's really nice the deal you're offering, but look, I don't need a sword. Where I'm from, swords aren't all that important. And also, I have to get home. I have a job to do that's real important and really doesn't involve drinking or killing people. So it's best that I leave this place and never mention that I was here." And Rufy's fucking best line of the book so far is, "Pish and posh, everyone needs a sword." It's great. And as Kara rows away, we get narration from Rufy where she's basically like, had I let her go, my life would have gone on a very different path. And I probably would have grown to be a much more considerate person. Supergirl would have undoubtedly returned to her prestigious adventures, protecting those in need as she lived up to her well-earned values. Had I let her go. And Rufy dives into the lake and starts swimming across. And she basically describes like, yeah, this was a long ass swim and my muscles were in agony by the time I got to the other side of the lake. And it's because we've talked about a couple times before on the show. Tom King did that interview with Comic Pop where he's basically like, yo, this is fucking True Grit and Supergirl is Rooster Cogburn. Rufy is very obviously the little girl from True Grit, and this is the fucking scene where she rides the horse across the river. It's awesome. I love it. But she gets to Kara's ship, and she's never seen anything like it, which establishes that this is a planet that doesn't have interstellar travel. And she's just like, what the hell is going on? And Kara comes out and goes like, you need to get the fuck away. I already set up the auto launch. This is a horse, and it will kick very hard in a few minutes. And Rufy repeats her line about saying her name in the arrangement and asking Kara to do it. And Kara goes, you seem like a very nice girl, but I can't go with you to go off and kill someone. You don't know this about me, but I have a job, a very responsible job that I need to go back home to do. And the first rule of that job just so happens to be don't kill people. Look, I understand your anger. It's hard to lose somebody, but you have to look for justice, not vengeance. You know, it's like my mother used to say, life is about compassion, not fury. And Rufy responds to this by going, you understand? You don't know a damn thing. I didn't lose somebody. I lost my blessed father who was my heart. I will never see him again. Not on my bridal day or any other. He's gone. All that flighty talk of compassion and fury, that's dandy if you're living on ground you know will stand solid. But I lost my world. And as she says that, we get this panel where Kara looks like, fuck, why do you have to say it that way? And she starts going, like, she literally says, fuck, I came here on my fucking birthday so I wouldn't have to always think about this, as she's like starting to tear up. And she gets shot in the chest with an arrow. And we pull back, and Krem, the guy who killed Rufy's dad, has been hired by the bounty hunter Rufy was trying to hire in the beginning of the issue to track down Supergirl and kick the shit out of her. And they got the jump, and Kara goes down with the arrow in her chest, and Crypto, who has also been there just hanging around in the background, immediately goes, oh, you shot my master? I'm gonna fuck you up. And because Crypto's a dog and he doesn't realize he's under a red sun and doesn't have his powers right now, he gets shot. And Supergirl flips the fuck out. And in the most, oh my god, I love this character moment I've had in a while, she gets up and starts marching towards them and goes, swords and arrows? Do you even know who I am? I'm Supergirl. Do you think I give a fuck about swords and arrows? And she starts beating the shit out of them. Until Crom escapes onto her ship as it starts to launch, and she just passes out next to Crypto. And the final image of the issue is the ship taking off with Kara cradling Crypto in her arms, them both bleeding out, and Rufy being knocked back by the ship taking off.
Damn.
Yeah, it's to quote the great Vincent Kennedy McMahon, it's such good shit.
Well, let's hope she has a communicator and go like, hey, Hal, I need a ride.
Well, let's be real. She'd call Kyle.
Yeah, she would call Kyle.
Also,
she called Kyle because Hal would immediately rat her off to Clark.
Yeah. But yeah, I love this issue. I absolutely love, like, I was expecting it to be good, but it fucking rocked my world. I was like, okay, this is the beginning of something special. This is going to be the Supergirl book people get pointed to in the future. So I immediately went out the next morning to my local comic book shop and bought a copy of a single issue for the first time in almost 2 years.
You bought a floppy, boy.
Yeah.
Are you going to buy the rest of the flops?
I just might. We'll see.
Nice. But it's living up to your expectations so far.
It's exceeding my expectations.
Good. That's good. I'm glad. Because, like, you have very specific favorite characters that just get shit on all the time.
Yeah.
So you ready? You ready to hear about the fucking dumb shit X-Men got up to?
Yeah, dump it on me, broyo.
Okay, first things first, we need to talk about New Mutants, and it's a lot of character development. It's Moon, it's Danny Moonstar walking around with Warlock. It's Karma got hit on by some skeevy dude at the party, and she goes like, fuck you, and pour drinks on him, and he's like, what do you think you're doing, bitch? Wolfsbane's going like, hey, they're not gonna resurrect my daughter. I don't know why. I'm just being sad about it. Can I just be sad about it for a bit? Okay.
Oh,
and
wow,
then
I didn't know Wolfsbane had a daughter.
She had a daughter with an Asgardian wolf dude. Yeah, so he's
That's
like
interesting.
Rick
I
is
didn't
like
know
half god.
much. I didn't know much about Wolfsbane going into fucking New Mutants. I was just like, wow, she looks pretty young, and she looks like she's probably one of Jean Grey and Scott Summers' many daughters.
Yeah. But this dude hits on Karma, and she basically like tricks his mind into pouring a drink on himself. And the dude goes like, "Yo, you use your powers on me. That's a big fucking mistake. Mutants use their powers to abuse civilians." Saw like trending news. And basically she goes like, "Yeah, your negging and tasteless insinuations aren't shocking. They're boring, as is your work. You created an abrasive persona to prove that you're authentic, but all you've done is shown how basic and cruel you are. You're the guest here, a tourist, not a diplomat.
Damn.
Basically, know your place, bitch. Take the loss and keep your mouth shut for the rest of the night." It's just great.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
He looks like a total Hollywood douchebag. Also, I think Karma's a lesbian, so it's like double fucking layered there. It's like, fuck you, asshole. Laura is talking to Akihiro, going like, "Hey, have you seen Gabby?" And Akihiro's going like, "No, I haven't seen Gabby." And Aurora's going like, "Oh no, I haven't seen Gabby. I've just been making out with your brother." And she's going and Laura's concerned, and she's going like she's going through some things, and I'm worried about her and all that kind
Well,
of
shit.
stuff.
What's happening to Gabby? Is Gabby okay?
Gabby is okay, but her friends are working with the Shadow King because they're all like weirdly shaped mutants, and they still feel like bad about it. They don't like their bodies, so they're trying to work on it. And Gabby goes like, "Yeah, but that's the Shadow King. It's kind of not cool. He's kind of shady, and I'm worried about you as my friends." And like the last issue, they were like, "Yeah, Gabby, we understand, but like, can you just let us be us? And if we fail, help us out when we do. Like, we're trying to form our own path. Like, let us be. If we fuck up, we fuck up. You know."
Hmm.
And then all throughout the background, Warlock has been kind of shapeshifting into like other new mutant characters, and basically Warpath goes like, "Hey, Warlock, why are you doing it?" And Warlock basically goes like, "Well, considering I'm still technically part of Cypher, I feel weird a being a part of Cypher while he's trying to be happy and married, and I don't know, and I'm trying to fill that void, and I feel sad." And Warpath goes like, "Hey, it's the honeymoon phase. They're just getting to know each other. You're not out of Cypher's life. He's your friend, and you're connected in a special way, and like nothing's gonna change that. You know, he he." He's in a honeymoon phase, but eventually he'll miss you too, and then he'll come back to you as a friend. You got family here, and that's a gift. Go talk to him. The boy's mutant power is to understand." And so he goes over and taps Cypher's wife's shoulder, and just he's sheepish, and Cypher just goes like, "Oh hey, what's up?" And the wife just starts hanging out with them, and like Warlock is just happy with his bro, and his wife just totally accepts him.
That's cool.
It's great. It's happy. It's all that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, Magic is walking through. No, Danny's walking through a hall while Magic pops out and goes like, "On a scale of 1 to 10, how skilled are you at disrobing a man?"
Whoa.
And she goes, "We have a situation. Warpath is trying to get out of his monkey suit, and it's too hard to get out, and she just needs help. Get help. Warpath just needs help getting out of his costume." So it's just kind of really cute, platonic, and wholesome. Um, Magic pulls out some magic champagne, and they have a whole little smaller group, smaller get together as Laura finds a letter from Gabby. Well, Gabby's friends are going out to the place where they've been talking to the Shadow King. The last time we saw Gabby, she was talking to the Shadow King.
Oh
As her
dear.
friends walk up to the place where they go, Gabby's laying there, eyes white, dead.
Oh shit. Fuck.
Yeah. Gabby's dead.
Like
As
dead, or can be revived dead,
That's the
resurrected
thing.
dead.
Technically, I'm pretty sure she can be revived because she's modified DNA like Laura is, but who knows? Because Gabby still has that worry. She's not sure she'll come back, and Laura's not completely sure she'll come back. And like, there's a little bit of an ambiguity there. I think she's gonna come back, but like, and basically, Laura, we get the whole letter that Laura got from Gabby, and it's basically, "Hey, I'm sorry we haven't been able to talk lately. I just don't know how to do it. I'm a young little preteen, and I don't know how to express myself. But like, I made friends while you were away, so I'm trying. I really like them. I'm trying to connect with them, and I'm trying to do all that. I'm trying to be a good person. I'm gonna try and convince him one last time to stop. Either way, I'm hoping you read this before the gala so it can be less weird. I want to party with my sister. Jumbo even made me a cool outfit. It has a hood. He said he gave us a similar pattern so we looked like we belong together, which made me happy. I want to belong with you. You're my sister. You make me feel like a real person who matters. I missed you. Let's eat all the fancy food together and take lots of pictures. And it's just like, God damn it.
That fucking hurts, dude.
Because this is the image of Gabby we have at the end of this issue.
I'm just imagining Wade finding out about this and being like, "You let what happened to my friend?"
Imagine Logan hearing about this.
Oh yeah, fuck.
Just imagining the whole Wolverine family. Logan, Akihiro, Laura, Wade. Because Wade's fucking Deadpool's brother at this point. Wade is Wolverine's brother at this point. They're bros. They annoy each other, but they're bros.
I mean, what else do bros do?
Exactly. And that's the end of that issue. So we have no idea, and none of the other issues talk about it so far. So let's talk about X Corp first. As we see Angel and Monet getting ready for the party. We also see Multiple Man getting ready for the party and setting up all his waiter drones. As basically Angel and Monet are going through a couple different meetings, just talking to people. Sunspot's there, and he goes like, "Hey, I just concerned about how you're investing my money and doing all that kind of stuff," and it's great. It's not Bayonetta, but it looks like Bayonetta from the video game Bayonetta. She shows up and they have a little meeting, and then we see Kid Omega dealing with Baron von Strucker's kids who are mutants. That this has been a thing in the comics for a while, but they're Nazis. But they're Hydra Nazis.
What? Ooh.
Yeah. So basically, they're going like, "Hey, man, we're rich socialite business people. Why aren't you working with us?" And Monet basically goes like, "All right, understand this. You're mutants. You're accepted on Krakoa, but you're also Nazis, and we don't want to deal with you.
Yeah.
Fuck y'all."
Yeah.
At a meeting with them. I also planned a meeting with them. So like, all right, fine, whatever. And they go have a meeting with Mastermind, and Mastermind basically goes like, "Hey, I can control illusions and everything. You know what I'd be really good? You know what I'd be really good for your corporation? I can do social media work and do all that kind of stuff and do your image and everything." And they're like, "Okay, we'll take it into consideration." As we learn that X Corp's big headquarters doesn't have any major security. The only security it has is the gates, which you can only get through if you're a mutant. But if you're an evil Nazi mutant, you can get into the business building and fuck shit up. So one of the Strucker twins does that. And Monet goes, "Nah, fuck you," and spears her. While the other Strucker twin gets out of the meeting with the human, and the human goes, "Oh, hey, no, we're gonna team up with them. Yeah, we're gonna team up with them." And Angel basically goes like, "Are you sure about that? You do know who they are, right?" And she goes like, "Yeah, they're mutants, whatever." And Angel just goes like, "Yeah, sad, whatever, fucking bullshit." And Angel basically walks with the male Strucker twin. He goes like, "Yeah, there's really something coming from you. It's your sister." And he goes like, "Hey, I know your sister's in the building. We're doing all that kind of stuff." As we get to Mastermind, and Mastermind goes like, "Oh, hey, thanks, I'm glad to help." And he undoes the illusion as they're on the beach. Angel was luring him away from the party so he could fight him. So they're fighting and like doing that whole kind of thing, and he chokes him the fuck out. As Monet comes out and goes like, "Oh, hey, I dealt with the other twin. We're all on the up and up." And hey, you didn't Archangel out, because apparently when Angel gets really angry, he turns Archangel. That's his kind of status. So he goes like, "Oh, yeah, but I'm really proud of you. You didn't Archangel out," and it's like really cool. And it's like, "All right, cool. We dealt with this. See you back at the party. Let's do it." And then Mastermind just goes like, and then Angel Angel goes, "I appreciate your help. I didn't expect you to help with this." And Mastermind goes, "Of course you didn't ask. You shouldn't have to. That's the value of having someone in charge of image." As Mastermind undoes the illusion, he did Archangel out.
Oh.
Yeah. So now we have the third board of the directors, Mastermind. This is really cool. I like it.
Yeah.
And then we have the most important issue this week, Planet-Sized X-Men.
Yeah, I saw ads for that when I was in the comic shop.
So this issue starts off, and we're in the Kuiper belt around Jupiter, and we see some asteroids moving. And then we see what's moving them, and we see Magneto on an asteroid pulling it towards someplace. And we see that they're landing on a red planet, while another one cracks open the surface, and Magneto starts pouring all of the asteroids into the surface of Mars, into the under the surface of Mars, as other people are starting to clear debris and rubble. Iceman is up on the poles creating a bunch of ice. And we flash back, and it's Magneto talking to the golden woman from Araco, who will always win, and goes like, "Yeah, you can't keep punching humans. It's not a good look. It's not good." And she goes like, "Yeah, but they're humans. They suck." And he goes like, "Yeah, I know, but it's like we're trying to keep up an image. It concerns me. And basically Magneto goes, okay, what if there was something else? What if you didn't have to fight for that stuff? And she goes like, all right, cool. If you can find a solution, um, we'll figure it out. And a couple days later, Magneto's talking to Emma Frost, Kate Pryde, and Shaw, and basically going like, hey, Hellfire has a problem. Eric, the humans, it's a course. And then Magneto basically was like, yeah, no, we're in a pinch. I'm coming up with a solution. We're figuring it out. As we're at the X Mansion, and Captain America has rolled up on his motorcycle, and Cyclops is coming in and they're having a little leader meeting, and it's like, oh hey, what's up? And Captain America's basically going like, hey, I understand what your mutants are doing. I understand why you're doing it, but the regular humans are getting a little worried. I just want some assurance that like I want some like, hey, things are going to improve. And Cyclops goes like, yeah, I know what it looks like. We're everything's gonna be better. Ask me again in a few days. You're coming to the gala, right? And Captain America goes, I wasn't before, but I am now. And we get to a meeting at the Quiet Council, and Magneto basically goes like, all right, cool. If you're all for this plan, raise your hand. And basically pretty much everyone raises their hand as we get to a spaceship with a bunch of Omega level mutants. So we have Jean Grey, Kid Omega, Iceman, Pilar, like all the Omega level mutants. As they're going like, all right, they're working out the game plan. We're figuring it out. And Kid Omega goes like, look, I'm absolutely horny for this flex. But are we shorthanded? Do we need Powerhouse? Powerhouse is the code name for Franklin Richards.
Yep.
And Magneto basically goes, takes a wrench, molds it into a sculpture of Franklin Richards, and disperses it and goes like, no, we have no need for more pretenders. The boy is no family of ours. Hickman is playing with Franklin. There is gonna be Franklin. As basically Magneto's also going to other Omega level mutants like Monarch, the brother of Betsy and Betsy Braddock. And he goes to Araco and goes like, hey, I needed some mutants. And like, you're like, all right, cool. Yeah, we got mutants with the power sets you wanted. Here they are. They're weird looking freaks. One looks like an axolotl. One looks like a caterpillar. The other just looks like a void. We're weird mutants over here. And Magneto goes like, all right, cool, dope. I'm glad to have them working here. As we go to Mars, and the axolotl looking dude, it basically his powers explain. He has an entire oceanic ecosystem in his blood, and he cuts himself and lets the water drain onto Mars.
All right.
And the water just erupts all over the planet and destroys a rover as Storm is slowly building an atmosphere with that water and her weather powers.
Oh, they're terraforming. They're terraforming Mars, aren't they?
Yeah. And then we see the big caterpillar dude. His power is to basically become a bunch of worms and imbue soil like a worm does and decay and do all that kind of stuff. And so they're building everything and doing all that kind of stuff. And they go like, all right, cool. Time for the tricky part of our plan. Can we manipulate the external gate that we have to basically teleport the island of Araco into the oceans of Mars? And then they do it. That's their solution to the plan. They give an entire planet to the Araco island so they don't have to deal with humans.
Damn.
And they're all just looking at what they've done so far, and it's like, oh man, this is really cool. This is beautiful. Araco's happy. And then they slowly start building a couple buildings around the lake. The Lake Hellas diplomatic ring is where the Sol system hopes to end wars before they begin. Diplomats will receive the full protection of their station while at Lake Hellas, but to travel beyond its borders, they will be subjected to Iraqi law. basically saying the rest of this island's going to be a warrior hellscape. This little place is going to be peace. So if you want to be safe, you stay here in our protection. As we keep building, basically Jean Grey and Kid Omega come up with an idea of like, oh yeah, no, that'd be really good to have here. And so they start building up the meme in their head, like the idea of it. And basically Monarch goes like, sorry, what exactly are we doing here? And Jean Grey goes, well, Jamie, I have an idea. An infectious idea. One of those that seeds itself in your mind and becomes something that you cannot help but create to warp and change reality. They implant the idea into his head. He becomes pregnant with a space station that turns into the Mars version of Sword. Well, Monarch is laying on the ground going like, now you really know how to show a fellow a good time. Somebody owes me dinner.
Holy fuck, dude.
Meanwhile, Monarch, of his own volition, builds a spaceport with the rule that if you want to be in the Sol system, that is where you land.
Oh.
All the while, Magneto is on the porch between the gate between Krakoa and Mars, and Magneto looks up and it's starting to rain, and he goes like, oh, rain. And Storm just goes, this is not my doing. It's the planet being alive again, and these are tears of joy. As they bring out the entire gala to Mars to show how they basically terraformed it. Arakko is the first mutant world. Attempt to land, no landing except at Port Prometheus. Arakko is the capital of the solar system. Hold fast for a message from the Regent of Sol. Mutantdom has claimed Earth as their own and claimed that it is the capital of the solar system.
IDW Optimus Prime. Holy shit.
And basically, this is them saying, we are in control of this system. We rule. If you want to deal with us, you deal with us. Got it?
Oh, shit, dude.
Which also really calls into what fucking they were talking about with Namor the other day, because Magneto knew exactly what he was going to be doing later. They were basically coming up to Namor going like, hey, one last shot before you become ultimately outclassed. Because we just took over an entire planet, motherfucker. How's that 70% of Earth now? Like, holy shit. Because this ultimately has ramifications for most other books.
Yeah.
Because Venom's going to have to deal with this. Eddie Brock's going to have to deal with this stuff now. The Avengers? Oh yeah, no, they're definitely going to have to deal with this stuff now. Especially Thor. Guardians of the Galaxy? Oh yeah, they're going to have to deal with this. Fantastic Four? Yep. The only books I don't think are going to have anything to do with it are stuff like Spider-Man and Daredevil.
I love how I've spent literally fucking years going like, I don't know if I want the X-Men in the MCU. They kind of work better as their own thing, off separate from the rest of the Marvel Universe, because the whole persecution complex thing with them doesn't really make sense in the same universe, and Hickman just barges in and goes, yeah, that's the point.
It's racism. It has no reason. It is dumb. So let's just go have them go like, yo, all y'all dumb. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Also, there's a fictional letter from NASA going like, hey, yeah, we just caught up on all the Earth stuff. Yeah, our rover is gone. Given everything, yeah, no, it should be sustainable. It's not like a temporary thing. No, this is permanent. This is like irrevocably different. This is a new Mars. Should we rename it Arakko because they've claimed it? We don't know how to do that. And the last thing is, on a personal note, we're disappointed that Krakoa claimed the planet. A lot of us were sympathetic to their cause, and we like to go on record from day one that we'll like to be able to visit for scientific purposes. So, NASA's dope. NASA's cool folk. Yeah, this irrevocably changes Marvel Comics.
Yeah, holy fuck.
And like, the Hellfire Gala's not even done yet.
Man.
And here's the thing, it's Jonathan Hickman. So all the other writers tend to like his shit and respect it and will use it.
Yeah.
Unless your name's Slot, but...
Well, Slot's a bitch.
And he's getting off the FF, and it cannot happen soon enough. You see the thing he did with Fantastic Four just recently?
Yeah, I saw a cover for Bride of Doom while I was in the comic shop the other day.
Yeah, Doom is getting married, and like they're on the fucking like right about to do it, and she goes like, "Oh hey, by the way, I just need to tell you, before I started dating you, I fucked Johnny Storm," and it's just like, God damn it, is this really the direction you're fucking going in? So dumb. Not a
It's,
fan.
was this like a pre-established character? What?
Yeah, she's not that old though. She's recent. I think she is a slot character. But yeah, that's X-Men this week. Pretty fucking wild.
I'll say.
Just wait until you get to this part, man.
I'll probably be crapping my pants all over this podcast.
Yeah, here's that Monarch impreg you never asked for.
Whoa. Jesus Christ, Gene's fucking reactions.
Omega's fucking reaction is going like, is this what you thought would happen? I love Kid Omega's design in this. He's great.
Yeah.
This whole thing was just fucking fantastic. Also, they did some dope shit for Apuki. Apukalupaloo.
Hey, look at that. He's got a nice place going there.
It's a nice little statue in honor. But yeah, no, this is fucking wild. It's a wild fucking ride.
Seems like it.
Yep. But with that being said, I think we've gone through everything we want to talk about this week.
Or have.
So, do you have any final thoughts that you want to get across to the audience?
Kara Zor-El could put me through a table and I'd thank her.
That's not a new thought, though.
It is, because that fucking happened to a dude in this book, and I was like, shit, I wish that was me.
So, here is where you get to shill your shit.
Hey, everybody, I'm the Vacuuminator. I've been many things to many people in the place called YouTube. But just recently, I gave my channel a whole big old facelift, and I am now pretty much just a toy guy. I make videos about toys on YouTube, primarily reviews and things, but also occasionally toy hunting, occasionally top 10 and stuff like that. You can check out all my stuff at youtube.com/thevacuuminator. That's TheVacuuminator. Yeah, go check out my stuff. I hope you like it. And if you do, follow me on social media at the Vacuuminator on Twitter and at @the_Vacuuminator on Instagram.
Oh yeah, hey howdy, I'm Chris Boingo Writer Gaston. I make video essay and editorials content on Boingo Writer on YouTube. You can find me however you find other people on YouTube. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram, Boingo_Writer. Find me there. And this has been Modular Media's No Price Podcast, one of the many podcasts that you can find on Modular Media's YouTube channel, including Modular Media Wrestling Podcast, where we talk about wrestling every week live whenever we decide to schedule it. It kind of is up in the air for a lot of reasons. We also have Twit, This Week in Toku. We're back.
Power Rangers? They got that in Japan too. It's real cool.
I was more just waiting for a joke beat so I can go for Vac and Miriam talk about Tokusatsu. We also have modular components where we talk about a variety of things during the week, things we found interesting, things we just want to rant about, things we like, whatever we want, we'll talk about it. And if you are listening to this on YouTube, give us a like, give us a comment, subscribe to the channel so you can get this podcast and many more. And if you are listening to this on a podcasting platform of your choice, hey, give us a follow and tell your friends about it because, hey, that's the best way to help us out. In the meantime, do you have any final thoughts about the comic books this week?
They were real good, and I liked them.